Today I'm upgrading the front brake on my 390 Duke with a brake duct. This is what I would regard as a stage 3 of improving your braking performance. The Generation 2 bikes, that's from 2017 onwards, come with a larger 320mm disc. This is a massive upgrade over a Gen 1 bike up to 2016. So if you're looking to improve your bikes and you have a Gen 1, this is the first upgrade that you should make. So the base is to make sure that you've got the larger disc. The next upgrade is to actually improve the disc. The biggest issue you're going to start to face if you ride hard is heat. As this disc gets hot, it starts to lose its effectiveness and it won't brake very well. The next upgrade, if you haven't got them from stock, is to run sintered pads. Lots of people argue over brands of pads, so go with your favourite. If you don't have a favourite, don't worry about it, because there really isn't that much difference between the different makes. But always go with a proper name brand, not something you're buying off AliExpress. The next upgrade to make is to go for an upgrade to the disc itself. This is a Galfer disc, but it's effectively the same as the KTM Powerparts disc. It's a wavy disc, it's got more holes than the stock disc, so it cools better, because your enemy here is heat. If you're running a street bike, you can get away with just the stock disc with the center pads and you'll have good braking. Once you start to push the bike's performance, say for example use it on track days, you might live in the mountains where there's lots of hairpins to be going up and down, or you might be doing things like stoppies. That's when you will start to run into the limitations that this disc alone can make. Now you can upgrade. I'd love to fit a Motomaster flame disc. I run them on my 1200 Bandit, but it's not something I can justify spending the money on. So instead, I'm fitting a brake duct. This is a nice carbon fibre item from Bagoros Performance. So it's very light, and what this does is that it scoops air as the bike is running, and it pushes it into here where the brake pads are, and so channels air directly into the brake pads. This is nothing new in motorsports. You'll see them on cars and so forth. Brake ducts to direct the air into the pads and keep it cool. Now this is a really easy upgrade. All we've got to do is to pull the bolts, put this in and do the bolts back up again. So let's get into it. The bolts will probably be a little bit stiff to come out because they will probably have a thread locker on them. You should refit these bolts with a red Loctite or thread locker. Remember, these are high grade bolts, but they'll normally be something like a grade 8 bolt. Don't make the mistake of replacing these with stainless steel, because there's a risk that will fatigue and snap, and if they snap then the caliper will come off, it'll jam the front wheel and it'll throw you off the bike. So we've got two spacers that sit in here, the bottom one fell out, so all we should need to do is to put this in and bolt it back up. It's always a good idea to get the pads pushed back in a little bit, which we do just by twisting the caliper, and don't forget to keep your, either put a new clip on or keep it out the way so the ABS wire doesn't get damaged. We want to push the pads back into the caliper to make life a little bit easier for us. So choose your optimum position. I'm going to try this with this right up against the caliper rather than on this side of the spacers. If you leave the bottom bolt in here, then it's easier than trying to juggle all the parts that come with this, because you've got two spacers, you've got two bolts, you've got a caliper that's trying to fall off, and you've probably got a zip tie that holds the ABS wire out the way. Right, so now we've got that captured there. Just wiggle it around a little bit, and then we can try and keep all of the top ones in place. As I say, you should be putting Loctite on these, so I'm going to take a few minutes. I'm just going to clean these off, put new Loctite in, and then put them back in. KTM recommend Loctite 204. Don't overdo the Loctite. You don't need as much as some people think you do. And these run at 30 Newton meters. That's it, job done. You can play with either side of the spacer as you see fit. I'm happy with that. And that's it. It's all that takes to install a brake duct on your front brake caliper to improve braking performance. Now, don't forget to pump up your front brake, because when we push those pads back, it pushed the fluid back up into the reservoir. Okay, now I've got a good front brake again. So now I can go and practice my stoppies without worrying about losing performance on the front brake. So thanks for watching and good luck with the upgrade.